You are now listening to the most talked about blog talk radio station in the universe. Walk in His ways, Impact Voice Radio. Be prepared to have your mind stimulated, your spirit elevated in ways you couldn't even imagine. Introducing your host and the mastermind behind this unforgettable experience, Ferman Jackson Jr. You will not be disappointed. Let's go!
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Walking This Way's Impact Force Podcast. I'm your host, Ferman Jackson Jr. I'm broadcasting you live from my new home, my new location of Arlington, Texas, outside Dallas and Fort Worth. Big shouts out to Arlington, big shouts out to Dallas, Fort Worth, DFW. Big shouts out to my hometown of Mobile, Alabama, and other surrounding areas. Of course, you got Mississippi in the house, you got Georgia in the house, and soon we're going to have California in the house when Dannielle be popping in. I hope everybody having a great Tuesday. This is actually the first episode of Walking This Way's podcast for the month of October. I'm very excited. We are in the 10th month of 2021, and I encourage everybody to play at a high level, continue playing at a high level in your professional life as well as your personal life. So we want to keep that energy going, keep that fire going, keep that passion burning. No matter how hard it get, no matter how tough it get, you can make it through. And also very excited, we have our guest Rachel here. She's a very extraordinary woman. And the name of this interview is called Who's That Girl? And of course, it's just the one and only that we have, Rachel. A very amazing woman that I met across Facebook, has a lot going on. And we're going to talk about this trend that she mentioned about the financial security thing, being sexy. I want to talk more about that tonight as well. I know you post that on your Facebook page and elaborate on more on that. Just that whole concept of being sexy, of just having yourself together in every area of your life. And that's the most important thing you want to do. So we get involved into it tonight as well. So we have everybody in the house tonight. We got Kenny, we got Emo, and of course we got Dannielle. She's coming in shortly. So, but we're ready to kick it off. We're going to kick it off with some sports. We know the NFL season is going on as well as the NBA preseason has started. So, big shouts out to everybody who's a fan of football, NFL, college. It is sports. And we everybody know that when sports go on, everybody be tuning if you're into sports. So, Kenny, go ahead and take away with the latest news and updates in the sports world from the NFL to the NBA to college football.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know right now to the public, you cannot see me, right? As of this point, you can't. But I do want to tell you as we go along in this NFL season that it's been so great. But I want you to hear something coming in there. Everybody at home doing your thing, I want you to stop right now. If you're in the Dallas, Texas area, and if you're definitely a Cowboy fan, you ought to know this track. But right now, I want to welcome you. You are now in the prime zone. This segment is so special, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Kenny Primetime Williams, and this week we're going to talk about a lot of things going on. I'm so glad to see everybody on tonight, Miss Emo, everybody, our special guest tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Shouts out to Dallas, Texas, Mobile, Alabama, the Mississippi Gulf Coast, all surrounding areas, my hometown in Greenville, Mississippi. You are tuned in to the Prime Zone. So let's go keep it moving. I'm not going to hold you long, but let's keep it moving. We're going to stop in the NBA. The preseason has kicked off. The regular season is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, and I am semi-excited. I'm still in my football spirit right now, but my favorite team is looking pretty good, and not to mention my favorite team. The Lakers jumped off to the preseason action against the Brooklyn Nets, and even though we came up short, but I saw a lot of positive things from the people or the young guys of the Lakers. Of course, the older guys, nobody but Anthony Davis played, and he only played one quarter. But LeBron and Melo and Russell Westbrook, everybody else set out. Speaking of Carmelo, he will make his tonight debut tonight as they get ready to play tonight, and he is hyped up and ready. So I'm looking for more positive things with the Los Angeles Lakers. That's my favorite team, of course. And Kyrie Irving, point guard for the Brooklyn Nets, was not able to practice again today due to the fact that of New York City's vaccination policy protocol. He has not yet been vaccinated. They've had several interviews and had several distractions in the locker room so far in preseason. And so what it is, I think he is sticking to his belief, and he has his right to stick up to his belief, but he has to be vaccinated in order to be able to play basketball in the state of New York. Also, Andrew Wiggins, he went on ahead and got vaccinated. He said he sat down with a reporter and they asked him, what made you go ahead and make this decision to become or to go ahead and get vaccinated? He said, I thought it brought it down to two things, either vaccination or no basketball. And that was a no-brainer because that's how you eat. That's where your way of living. So he went on ahead and got vaccinated. Now, let's go to the NFL. NBA is good, but let's go to the NFL. How about it? Congratulations to the return of Tom Brady going to New England as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers face off against Tom Brady's former home team, New England Patriots. After playing there for 20 years, Tom Brady comes out with the win. It was an extraordinary game. It was a hard-fought game as well. You can see emotions flying everywhere. I give big ups to Miss Emo. You guys have played a good fall game. You guys have been doing pretty good. I give you props, but hey, still a long season, a lot of football ahead of us. Josh Gordon is now reinstated in the NFL. You know, he had some problems with substance abuse, but he is now reinstated, and he has joined the Kansas City Chiefs and is getting ready to make his debut this coming Sunday. Let's go to some quick scores. I'm not going to hold you too long, but the scores we're going to have real quick for you. The Jacksonville Jaguars lost to the Cincinnati Bengals. The Buffalo Bills blew out the Houston Texans, oh my God, 40-0. And the Giants came away with an overtime victory against the New Orleans Saints, 27-21. Also, the New York Jets beat the Tennessee Titans 27-24. And man, I can truly say this was the first time that all New York teams won a football game on the same Sunday. So big ups to the state of New York City. Moving along, the Ravens top off against the Broncos 23-7. The Buccaneers take off the Patriots 19-17. The Raiders last night 23-14. And last but not least, I got to give it up to my big boys, my Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? I've been all day trying to get Jimmy Johnson's voice on here so he can tell you how about them Cowboys. But the Cowboys topping off against the Carolina Panthers. I see you, Emo, topping off against the Carolina Panthers with a 36-25 win. Let's go Cowboys. We got the New York Giants coming up next, and that's going to be an exciting game. So we're going to stay tuned for that. Now, let's go into some college a little bit. You know, everybody watching little college sports. I'm not going to give you all of them because there's like a million college games going on on Saturday, but just a few of them. Georgia tops off against Arkansas 37-0. Auburn tops off against LSU 24-19. Mississippi State tops off against Texas A&M 26-22. And Alabama tops off against Ole Miss 42-21. Now, ladies, I ain't forgot about the ladies neither now. The WNBA is kicking and kicking and kicking and kicking. Look, if you don't watch basketball, you got to watch these ladies play. Some of these ladies can outdo some of these men, you know what I'm saying? But the WNBA is now in the playoffs, and the Connecticut Suns versus the Chicago Skies. Game 4, the Sky leads the series 2-1. The Las Vegas Aces against the Phoenix Mercuries. The Mercury's lead the series 2-1. These games are going down to the wire. These young ladies are playing good basketball, so it's exciting to see. If you haven't watched a WNBA game, please do so, and you will have a great time watching the game. Now, before I leave you, I do have a final word for you for today, and it goes for everybody that's been out doing anything, whether you're working, whatever that you do in your life, whatever plans you have for your life. If your plan just doesn't work, change the plan, but never change the goal. Again, I'm going to say that again. If you have a plan and it doesn't work, just change the plan, but never change your goal. That's my time, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kenny Primetime Williams. I thank you and I love you. God loves you. Jesus loves you, and nothing you can do about it. Thanks for tuning in to Prime Zone. Emo, I see you. Danielle, I see you. Mr. Ferman, you always good. How about them Cowboys? Special shots to our special guest tonight. I look forward to the interview. Peace.
Appreciate you, Ken, with the latest news and updates going on in the sports world. Like I told everybody, this is the 10th month of 2021. I encourage everybody, man, wherever you may be present at, play at a high level. In your personal life as well as your professional life, utilize all that the Most High has given you here on the earth. Utilize your gift, utilize your potential, utilize everything He's given you here to bring forth His glory. We were made for His glory, and that's what He wants us to do. Also, we have Emo with the latest news that's going on in our world. Very interesting stuff taking place in our world. A lot of crazy stuff, ups and downs. We know how the media is, but we know who's still in control. We know where our help comes from. We know that we put our faith in the word. We put our faith in God, not our faith in things or the things of this world. We put our faith in the Most High because we know what He gives us, nobody can take it away. So Emo, take it away with the latest news, and after that, me and Danielle will kick it off with our guests with the Q&A session.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. I'm glad to be back, and it's so great to see everyone on tonight. So, guys, we're going to start off with something tonight. So, like Ferman was saying, with how the media is with everything, and they kind of always try to put some negative energy out there. Y'all be careful with your media intake. So, a lot of our Black actors and those that are in the spotlight, especially our professional athletes, are always coming under fire. So right now, we currently have a situation where people are trying to speak out against Denzel Washington for whatever reason that they've put up in their mind. So y'all say a quick prayer, because these are the people that are parts of our Black representation on TV and in the world. So please keep them lifted up, that our images won't be tarnished by angry, hateful, just haters. Okay. All right. So we're going to move on to something a little more positive. So for all my hip hop fans, there is a versus battle coming up October 17th. And this is for the old school hip hop fans. Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One.
Oh my.
So, back in the day, they had a little beef because KRS-One, he was cool with Big Daddy Kane, kind of slid over to another group, started rocking with that other group, and Big Daddy Kane was kind of beefing with somebody in the group. So they're going to be doing this versus battle in New York. It will be a live versus battle. It'll be at the Barclays Center. So for the wonderful that are able to get tickets, please enjoy yourselves, because they'll be kicking all the old school cuts. And this is for the original hip hop fans when it really started to come out fresh with those guys. So just keep that in mind. Also, guys, everybody remembers Black Panther. Well, Howard University and Netflix have partnered together to offer a $5.4 million scholarship in honor of Chadwick Boseman. So that's like super awesome that they would do that in Chadwick Boseman's name. And so they've already selected 4 students to receive the scholarship. They'll do a freshman, a sophomore, a junior, and a senior. So Netflix, hats off to you all, and Howard University for just keeping that hope alive. They also changed the name of their Fine Arts Center to in memory of the late Chadwick Boseman. So, hey, hats off to them, and thank you for always keeping that Black Panther spirit alive. So for our healthy fact tonight, guys, so I don't know how, why, or how I got here, but anyway, I found out that apples contain no caffeine, but they are more effective at keeping you awake than a cup of coffee. So when you're out making choices of what you're about to do, instead of grabbing that Starbucks that's going to pack on all the calories and help you accumulate all the pounds, think about getting some water and an apple. I hope this helpful fact has been good for you. If you like the helpful facts, guys, please hop on our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and let us know, because I'm going to be posting there, posting our healthy facts. So let us know what you want to hear in this healthy facts section, because I'm on a road to redemption, trying to get this life back to where it needs to be so that I can be a better service to the kingdom. The infirm have been really chopping it up, and he's doing a little healthy eating and trying to get his life together. So I'm hopping on the train with him. I haven't went vegan yet, but I'm working on some things. Like, I still have to hit Krispy Kreme because they just came out with a new cinnamon roll. Y'all pray about that.
Yeah, pray, put me at the altar tonight, because I'll go get one after this podcast over with.
That new cinnamon roll is, but they were sold out yesterday, but I got one today. So we're going to work on that. I'm going to keep sliding the healthy facts in there, guys. And I'm going to, I guess, keep y'all up on how I'm doing on my journey.
You can do it. You can do it.
I got some fresh Kool-Aid too. I just might go get this on tonight.
You are not any help. Stop.
See? Well, yeah, we working towards getting over there like firm, where we all, in there.
I work the midnight shift. You know what I take to work with me?
What?
Cashews, almonds, Greek yogurt, drink plenty of water. Take your vitamins.
Wow.
Take care of your body. I told somebody last night I'd be 40 in April. The girl looked at me like, I take care of myself.
I'm working on it.
I'm gonna take me a pork chop and some 20-ounce.
No pork chop. Leave the swine.
With hot sauce. With hot sauce.
No.
Oh my goodness.
No. Turkey.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Kenny, please. You're not helping the situation.
On a lighter note.
Well, I don't eat pork, so that's good.
No swine.
But that's all I have, guys. I love y'all. I'm so glad to be back, and I'll see y'all next week.
Appreciate you emote the latest news and update that's going around our world. And we know that being healthy is important. The Bible speaks about that. God wants us to prosper in our health. So we got to take care of our bodies, take care of our temples, ladies and gentlemen. For the work you got to do, especially if you're in the business world, your mind and your body is your money maker. So take care of these bodies. Because the pharmaceutical companies is $1 trillion industry. They're not going to tell you what you need. They're going to put you on different medications to keep you bound down with the high blood pressure pills and all that, and the insulin and stuff like that. Do some research. I encourage everybody, start doing research. It's a lot of, this is the greatest time we're in. God has opened up the internet airway for us to get these different research, to look up these different things, and it's free of charge. All you gotta do is get on there instead of looking for fights and all that back drama and all that stuff. Start educating yourself, because God has given us the opportunity to educate ourselves. Also, want to welcome back Dannielle. I know she was missing with us last week. Welcome her back as well. Danielle, welcome back, of course. I know we're excited. We're going to be chopping it up with Rachel, our featured guest tonight, as she talks about her business ventures, how she got started, and a little bit of a bio. I know she was in corporate America, I think she said, for 20 years, working for corporate America, then launched out after 20 years and doing her own thing, and she haven't looked back. And where people like her love telling their stories to inspire other people who have the desire to do something, don't know where to start. I learned this year want and willing is two different things. I want something, but I'm willing to get it. So I want to introduce Rachel. Rachel, welcome to Walking This Way Impact Voice Podcast. Introduce yourself to those that's listening.
Hey, what's going on, family? Again, as Mr. Ferman Jackson just said, I'm Rachel Roberts, and some of y'all know me as a currency coach, social media platforms, but like Mr. Jackson just informed, I was in corporate America 20 years, just had a birthday in September, 41. Woohoo! My mission is really to educate and inform individuals on how to really take their life back, how to use their currency, because currency is not just, we think of currency as money, but actually currency is energy. Money is energy. We are energetic beings. right? So in order to increase your currency in any situation, whether it be in your business, if you're on a job, if you're looking to be sovereign, so on and so forth, you must increase your energy. You must look at how you're showing up physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, because we tend to compartmentalize those things. When in actuality, all things need to be in alignment in order for that currency to increase. So that's really, I teach people, I educate on how to be abundant holistically from a spiritual standpoint. That's a little bit about me. Like I said, 20 years in corporate America. I was working, 60 plus hours, never had any time. And I wanted something different. I wanted to have my money work for me. I was tired of working for my money. And, coming from a place of, I was making good salary, so on and so forth, but I just wanted to do something different. I wanted it to be where I didn't have to work so hard, and I didn't have to be there. I didn't have to show up each and every time in order to, for my money to multiply. I was making and I was managing, but I was not multiplying my money. So that's really where my passion comes from.
Man, some stuff, and like I said, 20 years in corporate America is a long time.
Yes,
To
sir.
take that leap from being in a, I guess, security environment to going into the
Yeah.
and that's something, because a lot of people will take them 20 years still being in place, but
Man.
you took that leap of faith and
That's right.
trusted God, and He made a way for you. So I know Dannielle, she got some questions to ask you. So as me being a gentleman, I'm gonna let the ladies go first.
Go ahead, Miss Danielle. And how you doing, Queen? You look so beautiful.
Thank you. You too. You said you just turned 41. I'm like, I can't believe it. Wow. You look
Yes,
amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us. I really enjoyed reading your bio and just now hearing even more of the story behind what brought you to this place that you're at now. I wanted to ask you, after, like, this kind of reminds me of a conversation I had yesterday with somebody who was stuck, right? They were kind of stuck doing a good job at these, like, maybe more mediocre positions, and they wanted to break out, but they were afraid to like break out and do things because they don't want to leave what they know. And so what would you say to somebody in that position?
That's a great question, because again, I was there. I would say, look, the thing, I can only tell you what helped me. And what helped me was, I look back on my past, my last 20 years, and because I knew what my known past was and what it looked like, I knew literally what my predictable future was going to look like if I stayed in that place. If nothing changes, and we are the source of all change. It starts with us. It starts internally. So what I said to myself, and what I said to anybody, we only move at the point of severe pain. Right? It's like we can have a nail stuck in our foot, and we'll ignore it. We'll keep going. We won't even, we'll find any kind of reason to, I don't need to go to that. I don't need to do this. I don't need to. But at the point where it just starts, where it's unbearable, then that's the only time when we tend to make a change. So before we get to that point, I just ask or tell everybody to take stock of what they know, what they have known in the past. Because if you're doing the things, if you're not doing anything different, if you're not changing your habits, because habits are habitual, you're not changing your behaviors, then your known past does become your predictable future. And I would just, encourage, and I had to do it to myself. I had to encourage myself. I had to elevate myself. Hey, step out on faith. If I'm going to put the chips on anybody, I'm going to put them on me. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to put them on me, because I know what I can do. You know, I know what I'm capable of. And, you know, I think the biggest thing for a lot of people is, again, that fear, because it paralyzes you to the point where you don't do anything. You know, because you're so, hey, this is secure. I have my job. I have my check. I know when it's coming every month, but you have to ask yourself, and this is what I ask my students, are you looking for security or are you looking for freedom? Because the two cannot coexist in the same place. Security you can get in jail. Right. They got maximum security prisons everywhere. You see what I'm saying? Where they tell you where to eat, where to sleep, when to go to the bathroom, when to do, that sounds like a job. Mm-hmm. Or you can go with, you know, or you can look at the other side, which is freedom. Both have risks. No matter what you do in life, there is a risk. Mm-hmm. You know, the only thing that's guaranteed in life is that you're not going to get out alive. Mm-hmm. So you have to take it. You have to ask yourself, and that's what I encourage everyone, till your own ground. Ask yourself, what price am I willing to pay? Because there is a price to pay for everything that we do. Mm-hmm. You know, we always trade. We are natural traders. We're in a job, we trade our time for money. Mm-hmm. Because in exchange for this money, this paycheck, I'm gonna give you my time. Mm-hmm. Now, when you step out on your own and you look to be independent and you look to be sovereign and you look to within yourself for everything that you need, now you're looking at freedom, and that is a lifestyle change. So so what's the cost there? You pay with your life. Mm-hmm. And that's why there's a 1% and a 99%, because everybody's not going to be willing to do that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's just facts. So to answer your question, Danielle, I ask everybody, I'm not anybody that sugarcoats anything. I am a real raw, rugged type of person. And I excuse my French. I hope, you know, I get in that for you to really ask yourself some deep questions, because we're all adults. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? This is not a game. Mm-hmm. So you have to ask yourself, you know, what is it that you want? What is more important to you? Mm-hmm. You know, are you willing to take the risk? Because you've been risking all your life. Yeah. Whether you know it or not. You know, all we're doing in life is that we're managing risks. You manage risk by, you know, going to the gym, working out every day. Mr. Freeman just talked about, Mr. Jackson just talked about going to the gym and working out and healthy. Well, that's, you know, what's the trade-off to that? You're living a healthy lifestyle so that you don't get high cholesterol, high blood pressure, high X, Y, and Z. That's a risk. Your health. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So any way you look at it, there is a trade-off. So what price are you willing to pay for what you want? Yeah. And as I'm a financial advisor, so I know all about risk. Yes. I'm always teaching my clients that, you know, the higher the return that you're trying to get, the more risk you have to be okay with taking, right? There it is. In order to get a higher return in your portfolio or whatever, you have to be okay with the idea of having some volatility, which means that your money's not always going to be up, right? You're not always going to be up. You're okay with being down sometimes, with the idea that at some point you will be up at a higher point than where you started. So that's right. I love what you said. I love what you said about faith versus fear, right? Because faith is basically I call it jumping off a cliff with your eyes closed, thinking, okay, somebody's going to catch me. And we have to be, as people, we have to have that kind of faith in order to get to that next level and kind of train ourselves to push that fear down and back, because fear is like of this world, and it's going to continuously attack us, right? As we go to different levels and we encounter different things, we're going to come to different things that we might be fearful of, but we have to grab a hold of those chains and say, no, I'm going to believe in myself and take a chance and be okay with failure. So I love what you're doing. I'm super excited. Okay, Ferman, back to you.
Awesome stuff. And I like how you put that, Rachel. Your drive, your passion on what you're doing and what you want to accomplish in your life, especially at being a young age, because 41 is young. Yes, it is. Yes. But progress. And we had this conversation a while back, and I had this conversation with one of my best friends, who's like a brother to me, and like with me, and me being 39, never had any children at all, but knowing that God knows the time.
That's
God don't
right.
see time. God is eternal. As we put like He's eternal. He don't look at time, but I know we look at time. We limit ourselves to certain things when God bypassed all that.
Right.
And
Me
like you
too.
said, you spent 20 years working a corporate job, but you knew it was something greater within you to have that total freedom where you better do the things you want to do, help out people who you want to help out, and really have the time to be able to do anything live within yourself. So on that journey of 20 years working a corporate job, getting a W2 401k, how did you handle that transition? I know you may have people in your ear telling you, girl, don't do that. You've been there too long. How did you wrap that concept? Because people deal with that's the first thing people deal with is family and friends when it comes to
Absolutely.
making that transition.
Absolutely. And I think that can be sometimes our biggest, I don't want to say downfall, but our biggest question. Yeah, obstacle. That's a good. That's good. That can be our biggest challenge, our biggest obstacle, because of course, our family and our friends, and even ourselves, they're looking at us, and they're looking at what we've done, and now we're doing something completely different. As far as with my family, and my friends, my mother is extremely has always been extremely supportive. So I have been blessed in that area. But I have had certain colleagues, certain friends come to me and say, you're 38, because this is when I actually made the transition. I made the transition when I was about 38. You're in your late 30s, you're about to be 40, why now? Like, this is our society says that this is the time when you should be very well into your career, living comfortably, doing this, doing that. But at the end of the day, it was, I was so unhappy. I did not have internal joy. Right. So I think with that, with that transition, and with those, naysayers, you have to also remember, and I tell, I tell my students, you cannot go off of individuals that have not been on the path that you're going. Right. You cannot, and that's not limited to your family, your friends. That's with anybody, and even yourself, because with me going on this journey, because I was so used to going this certain way, our brains, our mindset is not set up for us to handle, new things or growth or anything like that. It's set up for us to survive. Right. So if we've been doing certain things in a certain way for over and over and over and over and over, for years and years and years, we're always going to get, those feelings and those messages coming into our heads and our subconscious mind again, because that's already embedded. Oh, don't do that. Why are you doing this? That's why, sometimes diets don't always work. That's why sometimes when we start new things, we don't always stick to them. Well, that's why sometimes when we go a different path, we kind of almost revert. Give it a couple weeks, New Year's resolutions, they don't always work, because, that's our brain trying to get us back to survival mode. Right. So I had to train myself again. And this is where that self work comes in, that knowledge of self. I had to talk to myself. I had to train myself that, hey, when you hear those individuals saying that you shouldn't do this, why are you doing that? Don't do question. And even internally, when you hear that those voices internally, know that you're doing the right thing. This is what you're supposed to be doing, because anything other than that, right, you're going to get the same result. We're not going after the same result. We're going after something different. So now my conscious mind knows that what we're doing, and it's drifted off into my subconscious, where it's second nature. I don't have to think about, hey, I got to get up and I have to do my things for my business. I'm trading. I'm doing this. It's second nature to me. Now it's weird if I don't do it. But we have to train our minds. We have to be. We have to pour into ourselves. You know, you can't, don't depend on mama, don't depend on daddy or friends or family or whatever. You got to be your own best cheerleader, because you most likely are the ones that are going to change the narrative in your family.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if there's not been a millionaire, if there's not been if the individuals around you are not going where you want to go, you can't listen to them. Why would you listen to them? I love you. I love you, but I'm on this path right here. So I got to focus on this. You know what I mean? And that's just how you have to be. It's not any shade or anything like that to you know, those that you know, but you know where you're going.
Right.
That reminds me of like a famous proverb: birds of a feather flock together, right? And as we continue to grow, some people can't go, like they have the eagles who have the capacity to be in thinner air. They can fly in the highest height,
in the highest altitude.
Yeah, so that thinner air up there, a lot of birds can't fly up there.
Right.
But as they go up into that higher altitude, some birds can't go with them. And so sometimes you have to realize, like, your friends, you know, everybody is in control of their own destiny. We all make our own decisions. We decide where we're going to go, how far we're going to go in life, and we make sacrifices to get there.
That's right.
So I can't do that for my best friend. I can't do that for, you know, the people around me. And so it's up to them individually to make those decisions for themselves. But one thing that you said also triggered a verse in 2 Corinthians 10:5. It says, we take captive every thought to make it obedient to Christ. And so I think it's important for us to know that we have power over our thoughts, right? Just like that, we have so much power. I think a lot of times people think that things just happen to them, or their minds just run wild. Yeah. Or, you know, like some people can't focus. It's because they don't realize the power that they have. And so I just love this. And I think that I want to ask you, how do you train people to take captivity of their thought system? Like, what is the step-by-step? Because I think that's a huge problem for people.
That's a great question, Danielle. I think the first step to me is understanding who you are. Okay. The three most basic the three most basic words and the most important phrase that I have it literally posted everywhere in my house is know thyself. Yes. You must know thyself. And that's not just, okay, I know who I am, my name, where I'm from. No. That's surface, that's face value. Who cares? Know who you are. Get in the mirror, right? And really start asking yourself some serious questions about where you are currently in your life, right? If you are in a position where you're not happy with the way that you look, with your weight, with your socioeconomic status, with the job that you have, with the career path, you got to start asking yourself some real serious questions. And then once you ask yourself those questions, that's awareness. That's the first step. Number 2, then you got to have the acknowledgement, right? Yeah. You got to acknowledge, I am where I am because I put myself here.
Yes.
Period. Yes. It wasn't mama. It wasn't daddy. It wasn't, you are the product. Yes. You are born looking like your parents, but you will die looking like your decisions. And that's what I tell that's what I tell everybody. That's what I tell my students. It's not a situation where, oh, well, I grew up in the environment. Yeah, we all got a story.
Yes.
We all have a story. But you are responsible. You are literally, you hold the pen to your own story. That's the beautiful thing about humans. A fish will always be a fish. They cannot do anything else but swim. A tree will always be a tree. Grass will always be grass. Clouds will always be clouds. A lion will do nothing but be a lion. We are the only animals on this planet, the only beings where we can literally change the narrative. We can change our circumstance. We can literally go from being an accountant in a Fortune 500 company to being a travel blogger in the next 6 months. You see what I'm saying? We can literally go from being addicted to some type of substance, whatever, to being having our own business within a year. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So we're not confined to our environment or our circumstance. But you have to understand, that's what I say, the first thing is knowledge of self. Start asking yourself those serious questions. And a lot of people, and that is the hardest thing and the most liberating thing. And most people won't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, and I told
that's why there's a 1% and a 99%. The 1% owns all the wealth of the world. The 99% just participate in it.
And I agree with that. And like you said, the knowledge of self, knowing who you are, know you are, self-examine. Even Paul talks about examining yourself. Even the Bible lets us know that my people destroy for lack of knowledge because they rejected it. The knowledge that we reject as a people, like you said, the circumstance, the decision that we made, why we in these situations, why we never take responsibility for our situations, that we which I call the Adam and Eve syndrome, where we'll blame everybody else for where we at instead of take responsibility and say, you know what, I put myself in this situation. Just like if you go to an AA meeting, what's the first thing they get you admit that you have a problem.
That's right.
And a lot of times as people, we walk in denial. We walk like we have nothing going on with us, our pride being away. That's one of the 7 deadly sins is pride. But we have that pride in a way. It's them, it's they, but it's always us. That's why I never understand why people go through these many marriages. Okay, you divorce this first person, you marry this person, you divorce this person, you go into 5 different marriages. Okay, that means something wrong with you. But that's how people go through life. They go through these different situations. They blame, well, this didn't work. Oh, because they didn't do this right, or they didn't work. But we never take responsibility for our actions. And like you said, it's all about looking in the mirror. And you looked in the mirror in order to get to the place where you want to be at.
That's right.
And like I said, with just dealing with your students, when it comes to your students, and I know you keep 100% with your students because we need to keep that accountability. So how do you hold your students at accountability when it comes to their life decision, life choice? How do you display that accountability?
Well, I think the best way to display and show accountability is, for you to be the best example, right? So, and I always tell everybody the best way that you can help someone else not be in poverty, you don't be in poverty.
Yes.
Period. So I am my own best, I am my own first accountability partner. I have, individuals that'll DM me, hey, can you be my accountability partner? Can you do X, Y, and Z? And my first question to them is, okay, how committed are you to your goals, and have you started doing any of the goals that you've set forth? Have you made a goal list? Have you, what does that look like? And if they come back to me with anything other than, yes, I've done that, or blah, 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 if they come back to me and say, well, no, I really need an accountability partner to hold myself accountable, I tell them flat out, I'm not the person for you. Why? Because you have to be your own first accountability partner. I am my own best accountability partner, because, if I can't even hold true to what I say I want to do in my own life, if my circumstance and situation isn't enough for me to want to change my life, if I have to continuously be inspired and motivated and this and that, that wears off.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like that's it's great for my students to see me on a platform like this and be all pumped up and everything. But within 24 hours to 72, I'm back feeling.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So you have to be self-motivated. So that's what I really preach and teach to my students. Don't depend on anyone else outside of yourself. This is you. The best hand, the best the most dependable hand is always the one at the end of your own wrist. not Miss Danielle's wrist, not my wrist, not Ferman's wrist, your own wrist.
Yeah.
That's independent. That is knowledge of self. You know what I mean? So I'm different in that way because I feel like we are coming from a society that preaches and teaches dependency from young adolescents. We teach dependency. We teach people to be dependent on each other, which, you know, of course we need each other to elevate, but everything that we're seeking is already within us. Because God said so, you know, God made it so. You know what I mean? Universe made it so, God made it so, however you want to look at it. But everything that we need is already within us. And so what I do with my students in terms of accountability, I reintroduce them to themselves. That's the best way I can put it. I reintroduce them to themselves and say, hey, look, you have all the tools that you need. You just got to tap into it.
That's good. I think, have you heard that saying, do as I say, not as I do? I feel like in the United States, that's like a big thing. And I'm a mom. I'm a mom. And so I'm like, I didn't want to raise my kids that way. I'm like, I don't want to be like, you know, I did that, but I don't want you to be like that. And so I am very careful about the way that I live my life so that I can be an example to others, right? You can't train others, just like you were saying, without being what you want to show others. And in that, you elevate yourself, because as you have accountability can look so many different ways, right? It's not just always teaching others. Sometimes it's just knowing that other people are depending on you to get it right. So they're looking up at you and they're like, okay, like she was jacked up, but she got it together. Like maybe I can.
That's right. Maybe I can.
So, yeah.
Exactly. And that is exactly it, Danielle. Like I don't want anyone, and this is what I teach. I don't teach dependency. I never want anybody to be dependent on me. That is not and even with in the trading courses, you know, because I teach, I trade in the foreign exchange market, the crypto markets, options, commodities, so on and so forth. And so, you know, I with that comes a certain level of sovereignty, because, you know, this is the same, this is the same economy that the banks trade your money anyway. You know, so that's with the level of teaching and understanding. So I never want anyone to feel like, hey, I gotta stay close to Rachel, or I gotta, you know, I have to be always, you know, just attached to Rachel in order to know what to do, or no. I want to teach. My goal is to get you away from me. Basically, not in that sense, but my goal is to really, you know, educate you to a point that you're not dependent on anything. You know what I'm saying? You're not dependent on me. You're not dependent on anything outside of yourself. Because once you learn, like I said, with the skill that I teach and the skill that I have personally elevated from, and that has been the springboard to everything else, you know, you can literally use that as all the means that you need. You know, so that cuts out the need for, okay, well, my passion is to start my own line of barbershops. That cuts out the need to go into the bank and getting a loan. You are the bank. Be your own bank. You know, that's what I teach. You know what I mean? That's, to me, that's true independence. You know, that is true sovereignty. You know, so yeah, that's, you know, I hope I answered your question. That's really, you know, what I stand on and what I'm so passionate about.
Yeah, and I had another part to that, just talking about the power of your testimony. So I was just talking about this recently. I was just sharing that our testimony carries a lot of power for our own future accomplishments, right? Because when we come to those moments when we are feeling hopeless or feeling like we can't keep moving, we look back at the testimony of what God has done for us or how we've overcome things. And that empowers us to be able to move forward as we come into different circumstances and obstacles.
Right.
So knowing that, how do you talk about testimonies with your class, and do you help them to shape that, or like shape that vision to keep their testimony like alive throughout their process of growth?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I think you simply put, your testimony, you know, your test is your testimony, and any true purpose is always going to be tested, right? Your purpose is always going to be tested for true authenticity. So anything, your testimony is going to come with pain, but within that pain is going to be your power. And that's what I teach individuals, you know, don't shy away from that. You know, I think we have the tendency as beings, as human beings, just to kind of circumvent and go around. You know, I don't want to touch pain. Like this is pain, so I'm gonna, you know, turn it over, go around it, go under it. I'm just gonna avoid it. But what I teach is, no, run a brick wall through that pain. Go revisit those painful areas. Go till your ground. You know what I mean? Because when you do that and you start replacing, you know, what was those weeds or whatever it is that you feel is stifling you or are challenging your growth, then you start replacing it with good nutrients. You start replacing it with good things. You start replacing it with that dark, fertile soil, right? You start watering it. You start getting everything that you need in order for growth. And when that happens, you get your power. That power is unleashed, and that's what we're after, you know. And that's what literally what I have done. You have to be your own best student. I think especially when you're owning your business, Danielle, I know you know this. You have to be your own best student. I can't teach on anything if I haven't first done it my damn self. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I have to do it first.
Yeah. And the Bible says that faith untested is useless, right?
That's right.
But that goes for anything, right? And I was thinking about like strength untested is useless, like health untested is useless. Like it doesn't matter if you're the most strong person in the world if you've never been able to use that strength or use the faith, you know. And so we have to go through things. And we have to embrace that. I'm writing a book called Failing Up, meaning like embracing the power that is held within your failures and being okay with failing, because you can't get anywhere in life if you're not okay with just not being okay sometimes.
Right.
So yeah, that's powerful.
That's absolutely right. You have to be okay with stumbling. You got to be okay with failing. Failure is a part of life. You know what I mean? It's a part of life, and that's what and that's what I teach and I preach, because most people their biggest fear is failure. You know, along with fear of success. So it's a fear of failure, and then a fear of, okay, once I make it, can I maintain it?
Yeah.
Can I continue at this level? But even before that, you know, I'm fearing, you know, what will people think? What will people say? What what happens when I get here? You know, what if I mess up? What if I don't make it? What if it's all risk. And again, and that's what I have to bring back to my students. The minute that you are born into this earth, you automatically are born into risk. All we're doing as beings is managing it. Period.
Yeah.
We're managing risk.
Yep.
So right. So you have to you got to choose your lane. You got to choose your path, and you got to choose your hard.
Yeah.
Because life is hard. Life is going to be challenging. It's going to, present obstacles and all of that good stuff. But you have the power to choose your hard.
Yeah. And there's some powerful testimonies. I mean, if you think of the billionaires, the multimillionaires of this world, they all have powerful
Absolutely.
And they're powerful. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, Danielle, not to cut you off, and and again, millionaires didn't get there overnight. First, they were thousandaires, right?
Yep. Yep.
So they had to fail a whole bunch of times in order to get to
Exactly.
millionaires. Millionaires lost thousands in order to be in order to get where they are.
Yep.
Billionaires lost millions.
Millions. Yep.
They failed a million times in order to be a billionaire.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so,
Yep.
if you can't handle your failure at your level, you ain't ready.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
tell that to anybody, you ain't ready. You think it sounds good,
Yeah.
but you're not ready.
Yeah.
Be real with yourself. You're
Yeah.
not ready.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And I think that takes people, like the power of like a millionaire's testimony can get somebody inspired, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I employ all of us, because we all have a testimony, but sometimes we like to hear other people's.
Yes.
It's more encouraging, to hear somebody else's story. But we all have a story. And so I think it's important for us and the listeners to take a moment and think about what you've been through and what you've come through to bring you to this moment, because some of us wouldn't be here. I know I've actually like defeated death a few times. Like I would, like there's been so many things that I've overcome. And so I think everybody has a story, and we need to, like, it's cool to hear other people's stories and rah, 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 but like, when you look at your own story and you dig deep to see what God brought you through, that is powerful. So that
Yes, it is.
In life. So yeah.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Ferman, I'm passing it back to you. We've been chatting it up. Sorry.
And like I said, with some keynote stuff and some powerful stuff that you are saying, when it comes to knowing your wealth, knowing where you at, where you want to go, and how you want to get there. The work, dedication, it's simple thing. It's work. It's not that's gonna come out of the sky. It's not that's just gonna magically appear. It's all about putting in the work. And I'm gonna take a step further. I remember when Jesus said, "The children of this world will be wise than the children of the light," and that's a strong saying, because I'm gonna say this. Sometimes as a believer, we get so content, we get so comfortable. We think we just gonna pray and that's gonna be it.
Right.
But the Bible said faith without works is dead. I'm taking this step further.
Amen.
In Genesis chapter 12, when God appeared to Abram, he said, "Leave your family, your kindred, and go to the land that I will show you." So the thing about it, you have to move and operate in the direction you want to go. And why people get so complacent, they get so content. Another thing, when Jesus called different people, they had all type of excuses. I gotta go say goodbye to this person. But it's all about moving forward, getting out your comfort zone and putting in the work. Another thing about laziness is a sin. Slothfulness is a sin. And you gotta put in work. People don't understand, you gotta put in work. In anything you do in life, you have to put in work. When it comes to your health, people want to take these surgeries. They don't want to put in the work. They don't want to exercise. They don't want to eat right. I'm just going to get this surgery, get this fat off of me, instead of just putting in the work. Not realizing if you have the surgery, you still got to keep that fat off of you. You got to put in the work.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, on a regular basis, how many times you deal with people who do not want to put it in the work? I hear people talk, but they're not willing to put it in the work. They're ready to waste your time instead of investing time. So let me ask you this. How do you challenge people when they come to you and say, "Hey, I want to learn about your business, how do you challenge them? So if they really, really sincere, because people talk a good game, but they actually say other things. The Bible, not I'm gonna say the Bible, but it said let your actions speak louder than words. So how do you challenge a person who say, "I'm ready to do this"? How do you challenge them to see if they really real about it?
Well, okay, that's a great question. I have a set of questions that I actually go through to vet, because just like you said, everybody likes the idea of change. Everybody likes the idea of living free and being a millionaire and whatever, but or losing the weight, blah blah blah. But not many people are willing to put in the work. You know what I mean? Not many people are willing to do what it takes to get the results that they want or that they see from other folks. So I have a set of questions because I don't take everybody as a student or a client. You know, I'm out there the same way that client may be looking at me. Well, you know, is this somebody that I want to do business with? I'm looking at you. Is this someone that I want to partner with and that I want to do business with? You know what I mean? Because I'm in a position where I don't have to take everyone. You know, and I'm not looking for anyone. I'm not looking. Here's one of the questions that I ask. Are you looking for a short term, you know, I just want to make a certain amount of money right now, or are you looking for a lifestyle change? And if it's anything other than lifestyle change, I ain't the one. And I don't have no problem telling people that, because I'm not. It's just like in fitness, you know, in health. Right? It's not about a diet. It's not about losing, I got to lose 30 pounds or 20 pounds just so I can fit in this dress or whatever. Because once you hit that goal, guess what? You're going to go back to the same habits, to the same behaviors that you were doing before because you hit your goal. Mm-hmm. No, you got to make a lifestyle change. And that's again, that comes with mindset. So it's about, you know, are you ready and willing to do what it takes to make a lifestyle change with your finances? Mm-hmm. You know, physically, mentally, and again, and honestly, finances are that's the end result of physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional. We tend, like I said in the beginning, we tend to compartmentalize things. Well, I'm gonna just work on my finances, but I'm gonna still be over here doing the same thing over, you know, and all these other categories. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. That's why that's why it's not working for you. That's why you're not seeing an increase in your currency. That's why you're not seeing, you can't get to the other side of things, because you haven't looked at yourself in these areas. Right. You're not disciplined in these areas, so how the hell you think you're going to be disciplined over here in your money? Mm-hmm. Excuse my French. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So it is in a whole alignment. So that's what I do. I have certain questions that is one of the main questions that I ask. Are you looking, you know, again, because I teach trading, you can make a lot of money in a very short amount of time. But it's just like with these, with anyone. If I give a person that doesn't have the right mindset to handle that $1 million, guess what? They're gonna be right back where they started within a year.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true, and I totally agree with that. The lack of discipline, the accountability, the challenge. I hear a lot of great men and women who talk on that level. Okay, they don't want their time wasted. Nobody wants their time wasted. When it comes to dealing with people, when it comes to association, if it comes to marriage, you don't want their time wasted. Let's just be honest. Right. You don't want your time wasted.
You don't.
You don't want nobody taking that time away from you. And time is valuable.
Time is more valuable than money.
And that's important.
That's right, Ferman. You know, not to cut you off, but time to me is more valuable than money. I trade in the foreign exchange market. My students trade in the foreign exchange market to the point where they've been able to completely make lifestyle changes. So that's of no worries, right? That's of no worries. My time, though, I can't get that back.
That's true.
I can't get 20 years back. You know, I can only look forward, right? But if I'm disciplined, if I'm patient, if I'm consistent, then the 20 years that I spent in corporate America, I can literally outrun that in 1 year. Mm-hmm. That's the beautiful thing about, about mindset. About discipline, about patience and consistency and all that good stuff. You know what I mean? You can literally scale down 20 years into 6 months to a year and come out better than you were back then.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things you were saying, or all the questions that you ask somebody, I feel like it points to one question in my mind, which is, what is your why, right? If you don't have a why, if you don't have a good why behind, and that's for me too. I'm very passionate. I I'm very passionate. I'm always trying to start new businesses and new ideas and new this and that. And I had to bring myself to really figure out my why behind different things, because that determines my motivation to get things done, right? So I'm not gonna accomplish things if my why isn't powerful enough to sustain me through certain types of obstacles. And so I love your line of questioning. I think we can all employ that in our own lives when we come to an opportunity, maybe a business opportunity, or different things that we come up to. We have to sit down and say, what's my why? If it's just making money, that's probably not it. That's not going to sustain you, because there's other ways you can make money.
That's right.
So it has to be something that's powerful enough that's going to hold you through some hardship, through something that might not be comfortable, discomfort, but you're still holding on to that why. Right. I want to be this. This is the reason. I'm going to be the first this in my family, like you said. Or I'm going to, there's just so many different whys that we could come up with. But I think it's important for people to sit down, and it's not a top of the head answer. It's something that you dig. You
got to sit down and really talk about. And to go back to your point, Dannielle, a lot of people, especially in my age range, when I start talking to them, or they're looking to make a lifestyle change, and this is one of the questions that I ask, what is your why? Most people don't even know. You'd be amazed. You know what I mean? And I'm sure in being in the financial industry as well, when you sit down and you really talk to individuals, they've never, because why? Because they've never been asked that question. They're just doing, the first thing, I need to feed my kids. I need to put a roof over my head. I need to do this. Yeah, but that's everybody. That's not your why. Yeah. That's not your why. And so what I literally had to write out was what I call the why formula, which is your passion. Let's identify that first. Let's take it. How do you tackle the elephant? Why do you eat the elephant one bite at a time? So let's break this thing down, because it's a whole formula to this thing.
Right.
Okay? So passion. What is your passion? What is it that sets your soul on fire every single day? You know what I mean? What is it that you always want to do? If money was not, this is one of the questions I ask. If money was not an option, what would you be doing? Would you still be doing the same thing you're doing right now to make money? Or what would you be doing in the best case scenario? That's your passion. Once we identify that, that's your passion. Now, add a little plus sign. What's your purpose? Because your passion is going to lead you to your purpose. Your passion is for you. Your purpose is for everybody else.
Wow.
Right? So from your passion derives your purpose. So now we can identify that. How are you going to use your gift to help the masses? Because money is attracted to value, not the other way around.
Yes.
Your purpose is value. That's wherein therein lies your value. Now, put a little equal sign, that's your why.
Yes.
That's it. So I literally have to break that down, because most people are not, they're doing, and we are human beings, not human doings, right?
Oh so my gosh, I just heard that.
We have to go back, and we have to really re-examine, why am I getting up in the morning every day? Why am I fighting this damn traffic? Why? And I'm in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I remember driving, I used to drive an hour just to get to work, and then 2 hours to get back home because I was in rush hour.
Right.
Atlanta traffic is horrible, just like any other city. But I used to, and I had to do the work myself. Why am I doing this? Why is this important? Why, why?
Baby, what are you saying?
Just why? You know what I mean?
Huh?
Yeah.
I think somebody got their mic on.
No, you cannot have my yarn.
But
yeah.
But yeah, that's you got to first identify that right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think we have to be specific and not ambiguous, because I've heard so many people, they'll be like, I just like helping people, and I'm like, okay, that's good.
But how? That's great.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, get deeper. Dive deeper.
Dig deeper. Like you said, dig deeper. Dig deeper. We all want to help people. We all want to do something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
But how are you gonna do that?
Yeah. Wow. I feel like you're clearly an expert in what you do. Based on this conversation, I will refer any of my clients to you.
Thank you, Danielle.
Yeah, I feel very good about, how passionate you are about helping people. So how can people find you? How can they get a hold of you? Do you have a website or? Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm on Facebook, just under, Rachel Roberts. And then also my business page on Facebook is at The Currency Coach. Also on Instagram at The Currency Coach. You can email me, if you have any questions, following this podcast on, how to get started, so on and so forth, at info at the Currency Consulting Group. That's info at the currencyconsultinggroup.com. So yeah, you can, I love questions. I get, a lot of feedback just in my direct messages and messages and text and all that, on the daily, just asking, for questions or, hey, what do you think about this? Or what? And I love, providing value. I love giving out value, in any way I can. So, I would totally welcome anyone, to just contact me, reach out to me.
Yeah, I love it.
Awesome
Ferman.
stuff. We had some awesome stuff tonight here on the podcast.
Yeah.
And Rachel, I do thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to be a part, talk about some things, share some things, bring some insight. And the most important thing really was just re-listen about tonight was self-examination. Knowledge of self, knowing who you are, dig deep within. And I'm a big person on self-improvement because we always evolving as humans. We always changing.
Yeah.
You're 40, you're not playing with baby dolls anymore. You're not playing with action figures at 40 years old. That was in your childhood. Even Paul said, when I became a man, I put away childish things.
That's
so we
right.
have to put away those childish things as we become adults and to make, to venture on to bigger and better things in life. And we know that it starts right now because tomorrow's not promised, next week's not promised, but we know that right now is promised right now. So as we get ready to get off the air, Rach, you have any final remarks you want to leave with the audience? Also, how can they get in contact with you once again if they're interested in what you're doing as well also?
Yes, I would say, again, follow me Facebook, Instagram at The Currency Coach, Facebook, Rachel Roberts, Instagram, The Currency Coach. You can always shoot me an email, info at currencyconsultinggroup.com. But I would just say, start now. That's my biggest thing. Start now. Don't wait till the time is right. The time is never going to be right. Don't wait till, let me just see what's going. No, again, we take risk every single day. That's what life is. You gotta, but what type of risk do you want to take? And you just have to decide that for yourself. The other thing I know you had mentioned early in the show, just talking about the sexiness and everything. Like I made a post on my Facebook, my Instagram, financial maturity is the new sexy, and it is. Like how we like to say 40 is the new 20 and so on and so forth. Dog, financial maturity, financial literacy, economic empowerment, financial freedom, that is the new sexy. And so one of my biggest things and my biggest initiatives is for us women, especially Black women, and I'm gonna say it, Black women. I am a Black woman, so I got to, I was Black before anything is Black over everything, and that's just what it is. We have to understand our own power in terms of financial literacy and economic empowerment. Okay. And it's okay, that, and we can still stand strong in our divine feminine and be those bosses, and we can be sexy, and you can be, you can show who you are, and you can be bold, and you can be energetic, and you can be all of these things. And you can still have the intelligence, the class, the sophistication, all of those things as a woman should. Okay?
Yes.
So that's the thing that I want to leave with you all, but peace, love, and light. I hope y'all got some value out of this thing.
Oh, yes. I know they did. Yes.
Awesome stuff. So do you have anything you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I have to say something about being a Black woman, you know, trying to navigate the realms of success and trying to be, you know, successful as a Black woman is a different road. And so I think what you said was right on and right, you know, a very good point. So thank you. And I want to share more of my story because I've had a hard road coming up.
Yeah.
Just coming up through the ranks, and as a Black woman, just knowing that, you know, I have to do it myself, and there's just a certain way I have to act and, you know, so that I can get where I want to go. And so that's a whole nother conversation, but I would like to
yes, I
have
already know what you're talking about. Yes.
But anyways, my final remark is something that I always say. I'm big on financial literacy, big on financial planning. And I'm always telling people that failure to plan is planning to fail. In every area of your life, if you don't make a plan to do what you're trying to do, then you've already messed up. You've already started to plan to fail, because not making a plan is planning, right? So you're just basically just making a different type of plan. But if you want to go somewhere, then you should make a plan and stick to it and then adjust, right? Your plan is not always going to be perfect, but if you make a plan and then you reevaluate every once in a while, then you'll have something to move forward towards, and then also you'll have something to measure your success or to know when things aren't working. Because sometimes people are just in this vicious cycle of stuff not working, and they don't realize that you've been doing the same thing for 10 years. And
right.
Not the goal.
Yeah, exactly. So that was my point.
Yes.
Like I said, we thank everybody once again for being part of tonight's podcast. Also, this will be up on our YouTube channel tonight. So we ask everybody to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's Walking This Way Impact Voice Podcast. Right now, we're up to 105 subscribers. We thank everybody for their support. The most important thing is always about being consistent. Stay consistent in whatever you do in life. Don't base anything on your feelings, because feelings change. So it should be a principle thing, knowing that no matter how I'm feeling, I'm still going to press my way through. Even Paul said, I press my way. See, in life, we have to press our way, not just, well, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it today. I'll just put it off tomorrow. No, stay consistent in anything you do. Consistency is the key. Stay consistent with what you do. You will see the fruits of your labor. And most important thing is always stay humble, stay meek, stay teachable, stay learnable. And my prayer all the time, I ask God all the time, give me the ear to hear and the heart to receive.
Yes.
And my prayer all the time is to be disciplined. And I'm telling you, once you ask God for what you need, He will present it to you. I'm a living witness of that. And you'll start seeing the changes on the inside. I'm not talking about the outer appearance. I'm talking about it's going to start within, and then it's going to work its way out. So I'm like Solomon. Solomon needed wisdom. God granted him wisdom. And hey, the rest is history. So God will give you what you need, not what you want. People think, I want this. Nah, ask God, give me what I need, and He will take care of that. He will answer your prayer. Just say, God, give me what I need. He know what you need. Trust me. I'm a living witness, because He's doing that in my life right now. So I want everybody, man, to have a great night. Stay focused.
Before we leave, Mr. Jackson, I know that everybody that's on the podcast probably is not worried or probably doesn't care per se, but breaking news from the sports edition, the Dallas Cowboys has now released linebacker Jalen Smith. I personally like the kid, and I'm very depressed behind it. So I just wanted to, that's breaking news, hurt my heart. But I see Emo laughing, so I'm pretty at least somebody's happy behind the deal, but just breaking news, that's all. I'm done.
He's actually good, so I'm kind of blown that they let him go, but you know, it's the Cowboys.
Well, I don't know. Still Cowboy Nation all day, every day, of course. But like I said, man, we're gonna be back next Tuesday night here on the podcast. Same bad time, same bad channel. For those who know, that's the old Batman TV show that way before my time. I was born in 1982. It came out in the 60s. But I used to watch it growing up as a kid, especially good TV shows that we had growing up. Them days were pretty good. We had a good TV shows back in the day. Now we don't have nothing now. If you have children, I'm encouraging those who have children, train your children. Please train your children. Train them in the way they should go, because so much stuff is going on. I'm working in a correctional facility. I've been doing this work since 2012. We got young people going to jail, the left and right. We got 60-year-olds brought up on murder charges. We got it's crazy out here. And just on a serious note, if you have children, fathers, I'm encouraged, especially the fathers, be there for your child. Mothers, be there for your children. It's the devil's running wild, and he's already going after our young people. We to my time, young kids on drugs now, smoking weed, getting high, popping pills. This stuff is serious. So I'm encouraging the parent. If you are a parent, be there for your children. Sit your child down, talk to them. You are the parents. You teach your children. You prepare your children for life. It's not up to the schools. It's not up to your professor, whoever you want to call. Parents, you are the life teacher. You prepare your children for life. God will honor that. Let's get these homes back together. Now, I just want to leave with that note. It's not get these homes back together. So we want everybody, man, be blessed. Have a great night. We'll see y'all next week. Peace, everybody.
Peace.
Bye.